I got an article for you. You ready?
Yep, I'm ready.
Actually, I should preface this. When I saw this article, it said something about ways in which business owners don't feel, so isolated and alone. And then I pull it up, and the title of it is 8 Ways to Upgrade Your Business Owner Peer Group. And I didn't like that title, but the thing is about the fact, as you know, that
so you're going to retitle this.
I'm going to retitle it, and I'm sure David Finkel isn't going to mind. He's the author, David Finkel, Finkel.
Okay.
And
let's see what David's got to say.
Not sure what the public.
And let's just remind everybody, we do pull this stuff from the internet, and sometimes we agree with it, and sometimes we don't.
But since it's the internet, it's always right?
Okay.
All right.
We're going to find out in a minute.
Well, actually, I thought this is pretty good because those of us who are independent business owners, it can be lonely, but there are tons of things you can do to not feel so lonely. And number one is get involved with a local trade association, business owner group, or networking group.
Okay.
And I know at least our first guest does that because we met at a networking group meeting.
Okay.
So,
now here, I got to break those up, okay? In my opinion, trade associations scare me. You can get sucked into a lot of time and energy and sometimes money, and all you're doing is talking with your competitors, and all you're doing is educating your competitors, and all you're doing is spending a lot of time with them. Now, don't get me wrong, there is some value. You do get some education, but I want to separate some of those out. I want to make sure that networking functions aren't put into the same category as trade associations.
Well,
because
I
to
think
me it's important.
They are different. They are different, but there are all ways in which to feel less isolated, because sometimes it's an advantage to talk to people that do the same thing as you do, and a lot of times it's an advantage not to. So I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, and all I want to say to that, Wayne, I want to make sure people understand that for me, I want to make sure that your time is also yielding lead generation and credibility. And
remember, this is not about lead generation. It's about feeling less isolated.
Yeah, but I want my time to always be doing that. And so for me, in this case, I do want to separate those two out, and I'm going to give more time to the networking than I am to the industry stuff.
Well, number 2 is about, once involved with these business groups, look for like-minded business owners that you resonate with. In other words, start finding some people that you want to talk more to than just rub elbows at the group meetings, I guess is what it's saying.
Yeah, that's an easy thing to say. It's a little bit harder to do, because what you'll find is there's people in completely different industries that can be very helpful to you. And so you want to try and get to know some of those. And if you do what you should be, which is listen more, I think you can find those people. But it's not easy to do.
Number 3, it sounds like the others. It says attend business owner workshops and events. So it's just a different type of group meeting. Now, these would not be regular meetings, so these would be kind of isolated meetings.
No. It's a little bit different if I'm reading this right, and I do agree with it. For example, when you put on a seminar, it's a little bit harder because you do a lot of webinars now, but seminars and educational type things, and if that's how they're trying to distinguish the difference, I actually like those, because that's where you can meet people that are interested in improving themselves and do want to personally grow. And so it is a different type of small business person
and
that's
also
want to take their time
and
to do
also
that.
Improve yourself in the process. So
yes,
yeah. Number 4,
it's a little bit different.
We agree with this. Cultivate the mentors and advisor team to give you objective feedback. I always say you can't have too many mentors.
Yeah. Well, and listen. To call somebody a mentor is not easy to do. You understand? It absolutely takes a lot of respect from both sides, and it doesn't just happen. But if you can do that, it is well worth the time and energy to do that. And you're going to find mentors in a bunch of different areas. Most of the time, they're not going to be in your industry. They're going to be in a related industry, but not exactly the same.
Going to help you with the business side, usually.
That's correct.
Okay, we're talking about ways not to feel so isolated if you're a business owner. I love number 5. It's hire a business coach, which is so it shows that this guy at least knows kind of what he's talking about, not because he put it on there, but he segregates. What I'm saying is he segregates it from mentors, because mentors are kind of people that are on call. They're people you trust, people that you know more than you do, and that's worth its weight in gold. And it's not that a coach doesn't. A coach is more of a consistent, help you get things done sort of relationship.
I can give you an example. When I've got a mentor and I do something stupid, they'll say, I really don't like that, Joe. You probably might want to reconsider that. When I talk to you, you'll say, Joe, that's a bad idea. Stop doing that. Correct that. Go back to your goals. Figure out where that fits. You'll find out it doesn't, and then clean it up and move
Joe,
forward.
I thought I told you were stupid.
So there is a difference.
I appreciate the distinction, and you're right. So number 6, get involved with a charity organization that both speaks to your heart and puts you next to other business owners.
You know, I learned this years ago. It's hard to accept, but you want to help get what you want in life, help others get what they want. And I'll tell you the person that defined this the best, and that is the CEO of Allen Tate. I can't remember his name right now, but he was at a seminar. Do you remember? He's a really sharp guy.
Yeah, I should know it.
He was at a seminar, and one of the things he said was, you've got to give back, and the way you give back is sort of you collect chips, and then you can cash them in when the time is right for your own charity or your own foundation. So he would give a lot of time and energy to a lot of organizations, mostly nonprofit, so that when his time came to ask, he could pick up the phone and he'd have a treasure chest of relationships that he could call on. And I really thought that was a really sharp way to look at that.
Yeah, and I think this is a great point. It's not just about giving back to the community, but it's also a way to get involved and feel less isolated as a business owner. So it makes sense.
We're liking this article so far.
Yeah, I think guy's doing all right. Number 7 out of 8 is to form your own mastermind group.
Go ahead. You're the expert. Define mastermind group, because I want to make sure I understand exactly what they're saying.
Well, everybody defines it a little bit differently, but I think what he's talking about, it's a more focused group. It's a consistent group of 5 to 8 other business owners, and they get together regularly and support each other and focus on each other's business and help them improve. Similar to the group you and I facilitate, but a little more focused, self-facilitated, and it's kind of a kumbaya sort of group, as well as helping each other. So it's more of a focus group than just going to a trade association or a networking group or something.
So you would consider a mastermind a group of small business people just getting together, maybe coffee or drinks, in my case cigars. That would sort of be
it'd be a scheduled basis. It'd be consistent, but it might be once a month. But the point is, versus the other group, it'll make you feel less isolated because you're going to meet with the same people. They're going to be people you know, like, and trust, and also they're more focused on helping you improve. So it's not just to get rid of the isolation. It's also a focused way to get input to improve. So
I guess I've been doing that for years. I never gave it a name, but I do
the last one you and I definitely support, which is form a formal board of directors or informal board of advisors.
Yeah,
we were just talking with a client this week about forming a board of advisors for the
and I
business.
think the way our client is doing is the right thing to do, and that is, I think you should get involved with, for example, you and I put together a small business advisory group, and we charge $550 a month for them to be a part of that advisory group, and it's between 6 and 8 small business people, and we sort of facilitate that. That's the way to get started. Once you get to a certain point, one of our clients has been with us almost 3 years now. She wants to form her own small business advisory group, and that is the next direction. And there are some challenges with doing that, but I absolutely support that. I've helped small business people get those started, and I think it's a great direction. I don't think I'd try and do it on my own first. I do think I'd probably get hooked up with an association or group like you and I do, and then move to your own advisory board so you kind of know how to facilitate it and what to expect.
Yeah, to sum it up, this article is all focused on business owners feeling isolated and how they can get out. And what ends up being really, really important is making sure that you do that. You can't know everything, so you've got to come up with some way to get out and to learn things from others, because you're just, you can't do it all yourself. So in addition to feeling isolated, you should be focused on making sure you're not isolated, because you're going to fail, 99% of the time, if that's
and what's really important is, if you're going to start your own advisory board, I can assure you it actually adds to the isolation feeling if you're the person that has to actually facilitate your own advisory board, because you find yourself putting together all the information, and so you're always sort of the person with the bullseye on their back, and you don't want that with an advisory board. You want it to run a little bit smoother. So you might be better off to start with another group, and then when you're more comfortable, then move over to your own advisory group.
Move from a kumbaya group to one where people tell you what you ought to hear.
Right.